but I think this is just about it. Okay, so today I get to do chapel with y'all again, and I know, woohoo! And we've talked a lot this year about faith over fear. Like all of these changes and all of these things that are going on in our world, Corona and the presidency and everything, was just kind of scary. And it was scary for you, and you're like 11 and 12 and 13 and 10, and it was scary for me, and I'm 40. And it was scary for my husband, and he was 42. So, like, just because we're old doesn't mean that we weren't scared too. So I want you to think of your fears. You don't have to raise your hand. You don't have to say anything. I want you to think about them. And, like, all you boys that are all big and tough, whatever, y'all are scared of something, okay? Everyone is afraid of something. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how big you are. It doesn't matter how strong you are. It doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how powerful you are. Everyone has fears. And I know this because that group over there that just said nope, if Mrs. Madrid were to come over and tap you on the shoulder and say y'all all have sacks, you have a fear that your mom's going to find out. Everybody's a little bit afraid of their mama. You should be. Okay? Everybody has fears. Okay? We are afraid of the unknown. People are afraid of failing, afraid of getting sick, especially right now. We're afraid of standing out. We're afraid of not standing out, blending in. We're afraid of disappointment. I know that was a huge one for me when I was young. Just the thought of disappointing my parents or my teachers was almost debilitating. Like, it almost stopped me because I was so afraid. The fear of failing was huge. And I could go on for days listing things that you're probably afraid of. And if you got real honest real quick, you would all say, yep, I've had that fear. But here's what I know about fear. Fear holds you back. It makes you weak. Fear makes you second guess yourself, but even more, it makes you second guess God. And that's big. Trent, can you? Nope, the verse. Yep. Okay, so the verse we're going to look at is from Joshua 1:9. It says, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Those are big words. Those are really big words. Like, I mean, again, like going back to your mom, when you're really, really scared, and you don't even have to admit this right now, but just in your head, when you're really, really scared or when you don't feel good, who do you go to? You go to your mom, right? Like I said, I'm 40. When I don't feel good or when I'm really scared or when I'm super anxious about something, I still go to my mom, okay? Just knowing that my mom is there is a huge, okay? Well, and like I love my mom, but God's bigger than my mom. And so knowing that God is there should be a huge for you. So fear's been around forever. It's in the Bible. There's fear in the Bible. And probably one of the most important people in Jesus' life was Peter. Peter was kind of like his right-hand man. They did a lot together. And throughout the New Testament, it documents Peter's fear. And you think of Peter, and he was big, and he built the church. And when Jesus asked him to walk on water, what happened? He started to, and then what happened? He got scared, and he sank. And he sank because of fear. And when Jesus was dying, Peter tried to stop it because he was fearful of what would happen without Jesus by his side. And probably the biggest example of fear is that when Jesus was arrested, Peter denied him not once, not twice, but 3 times because he was afraid of what would happen to him. So fear is a big thing, and it's real. But after all of that, after all of the times that Peter showed fear, and after all of the times that he didn't stand up big and strong with the faith over fear thoughts, Jesus entrusted him to carry on his work. Peter was chosen to do life-changing work after Jesus was gone. He was asked to help continue building this huge church and continue the ministry after Jesus' death. That's a really big charge to give someone. I mean, if I walked up to you, Brady, right now and said, hey, you're in charge of building Jesus' church and letting the whole world know about Jesus' ministries, you feel big enough to take that on? No, that's a lot. That's a lot to ask somebody. It's a lot to ask somebody. And even though he showed fear, Jesus still said, dude, I trust you. And I need you. And I'm here with you. So throughout the Bible, it says there are going to be hard times. God tells us there are going to be hard times. There are going to be challenges. And it also tells us that God will never forsake us or leave us. So, I think the number one question people ask all the time is, why do bad things happen to good people? Yeah, because doesn't it seem like bad things happen to good people sometimes? And I think that question causes a ton of fear, because you think, well, if I'm good and if I'm following God's ways, bad things shouldn't happen, right? But they do. Okay, I have a theory about this. And if you've been in my class, think of your favorite food. Think of your absolute most favorite food. And think about if you could have that food as much as you wanted. It'd be pretty awesome, right? Let's say your favorite food. Jackson, what's your favorite food? Nothing? You don't eat food? Okay, cool. Hey, Slade, what's your favorite food? French fries. Okay, so Slade's favorite food is French fries. And he can eat French fries as much as he wants, anytime he wants. That'd be pretty awesome, right? Okay, now if I told you you can't eat anything but French fries all day, every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, all you can eat is French fries, nothing else, just French fries. A day or two in, French fries aren't going to be quite as exciting, right? You're going to be like, ugh, French fries, right? Yeah, they're going to get old after a while. Okay? Think about the time you took a test. Okay? And you rocked this test. You studied for hours. You studied for days. You were prepared. You worked hard. You prayed about it. And then you got the test back and you made an A. And you know that feeling you get? It's called pride. Yeah, it's a big feeling, right? This isn't one of those feelings where you pull out your review on the 15-minute drive to school and then you say a prayer. That's not that kind of. Okay, that's different. Because studying usually takes longer than 15-minute drive to school. Or if you're studying for the 20 minutes in AP with the crazy around you, that's probably not studying. Okay, because even if you say a prayer, if you put 42% effort in, even if you pray to God, don't expect much more than 42% back. Okay, because you get what you put in. But if you've really studied and you've worked so hard and you get an A, that's a big feeling, right? These are all great feelings. But if every time you walked into Mrs. Madrid's class, she just said, you get 100, you get 100, you get 100, you get 100, and you don't have to do anything. And then the next day she walks in, and you get 100, and you get 100, and you get 100, and you get 100, and you don't have to do anything. By the fourth or fifth day, you're going to walk in, and Kara's going to be like, I know, I get 100. Okay, I get 100. It's not exciting anymore. The first or second time she does it, it's super exciting, right? You're like, whew. But then when she keeps doing it, it's not super exciting anymore. And then you know that you've worked hard, and you have 100, And the guy next to you that doesn't have a notebook forgot his book because it's A Day. Who knew? Although we have it plastered all over the school that it's A Day. And they left their book at school, and they don't know where their review is, and they don't have a pencil, and they're on their 93rd tardy this 6 weeks because they can't remember anything out of their locker. He has 102 because she's just passing them out. Does that 100 mean anything to you? If they're just giving them out, and you're working hard, and the guy next to you is not working hard, and y'all both have hundreds, does that 100 mean anything? No, it doesn't mean anything. Fear's the same way. Bad things, why do bad things happen to good people? If every day was perfect, if every day was good, it wouldn't be good. It would be normal. That would be normal. Things being perfect would be normal. You have to go through bad things in life so that you really appreciate the good things. You have to have trials so that the victories feel so good. Okay, so for those of you that follow Midland Christian football, we lost to Parrish in the last 8 seconds of a game, and it was a sad game. Like, how many of y'all were there? It was sad. Okay, like we were pretty sure we won. Last 8 seconds of the game, they throw it into the corner of the end zone. They catch it, they win, and they were ugly. Like, ugly after. Christian Schmistian, that was not Christian. I'm just throwing that out there, by the way. Okay? And we lost, and that loss hurt. And Coach Mack was sad and probably a little mad. And Coach Stonedale was mad. And you know how you know when Coach Stonedale's mad? His hat turns backwards. That's how you know when that's how you know when Stonedale's getting cranky. His hat goes backwards. Okay? And other Coach Mack was mad, and everybody was mad. But now on Saturday, we have the chance to play them again. And if we win, how good is that going to feel? Because we lost. And if we hadn't lost, if we always beat Parrish, every time we play them we beat Parrish, then we just beat Parrish. But we lost. And so now's our chance to come back and be better and be bigger. And if you think those football players are out in the field house like eating donuts and like living their best life, they're not. They're working hard. And I know this because I have a kid that's on JV who's the scout team for varsity. And he's getting beat up fiercely because they're practicing against him. And he's working hard to help varsity get better. They're working. And nobody has said, well, Parrish beat us the first time, we might as well quit. Because that's a bad attitude. So when we do win on Saturday, because we're going to win on Saturday, it's going to feel so good that we did it. But that's why bad things happen. Bad things happen because if they didn't ever happen, then it would just be normal. But you can't let the fear of bad things stop you from working. You can't let the fear of something might happen destroy you. You know, might you fail a test? You might. But if you work really hard, you probably won't. Is there a chance you'll be eligible? You might. But if you work really hard, you probably won't. Is there a chance you're going to get grounded? You might. But if you don't smart off to your mom, you probably won't. You have to put in work. But if your mom never grounded you and you never got in trouble, and she didn't care if you were ugly to her, would you talk to her with respect? Probably not. She didn't expect it. But you can't let the fear of living stop you from living, okay? And so that's what our whole faith over fear is. God's going to be with us. He's never left you. He's never made a mistake. He's never put you in a situation that he didn't feel you were strong enough to make it through. You may not feel you're strong enough, but God knows you're strong enough. And anytime you let your fear take over, you're telling God, my God's not big enough. And I don't want to go to God and say, sorry, God, you're not big enough. Anybody of y'all want to have that conversation? Anybody want to go face to face with God and say, sorry, God, I don't feel like you're big enough. Because my God can move mountains, and my God can feed thousands, and my God can save the world. So I'm pretty sure my God can get me through my fear. We just got to have faith. All right. All right, so bow your heads and pray with me. Dear God, thank you for letting us come together, and thank you for letting us worship you. Please help us to remember that you are there holding our hand, and you are there to pick us up when we fall. Please help us remember that even when we go through dark times, you're still there with us. Please help us stay strong. Please help us to keep working for you. Thank you for all the blessings you've given us. Thank you for our health. Thank you for our school. Thank you for our amazing teachers. Please let us have a wonderful rest of the week. It's in your name we pray. Amen. You're good to go.